Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes to renting versus selling and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live 888-994-4995, Studio A.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders, and every week we talk about something that will help you make a little bit of money or save a little bit of money. And this week we're going to help you buy a house. How do you buy a house in this crazy market? Well, let's talk about inventory. Today I have Freddy sitting here with me, and we're going to talk about the housing market, and we do have a lot of inventory on the market right now. I know that when I was talking with Dawn earlier, she was saying, well, some of the agents tell me they have no inventory. Well, we're not talking about the agent's inventory. Now, I am what we call kind of like a diet, right? I'm not results are not typical at the bottom of it. So when you talk about a diet and it says results are not typical at the bottom, my inventory and another realtor's inventory are not the same. So when I'm talking about inventory, I'm talking about the amount of inventory in an area on the market. I'll pick one specific area right off the bat. There's an area in Coral Springs called Wyndham Lakes. So during the craze, there was only between like 3 and 7 houses on the market back in 2021, which was going from like late 20 to 2021 till about February of 2022, because right around March, April, May of 2022, everything just went, and it went kind of back to a normal market. So you were only seeing about 5 to 7, 8, 9 houses on the market all times. Right now, I'm seeing anywhere from 50 to 90 houses on the market in that area right now.
So there's more inventory.
There's way more inventory.
But then let me ask you, inventory, is it based on price, location, style? How do they categorize it?
Okay, inventory has nothing to do with price, style, location. No. Inventory can be in a certain area, right? So let's take a whole different other city, right? Let's go to like Miami Shores, right? There is a city called Miami Shores. Like, how many houses are in Miami Shores?
Okay.
Well, there could be 50 houses available in Miami Shores. Well, there's different areas within Miami Shores, right? They have area codes. Like, could be like whatever that area code is, right? So we could be talking about, price point. So how many $600,000 homes are there? Now, is all $600,000 homes worth $600,000? No, of course not, because you think your home's worth $600,000 and you tell me, Laura, list my house for $600,000. I'm like, hey, your house is really worth $550,000.
No, $100,000.
Right? Yeah, no. Tell me where that $100,000. There is no $100,000 home, right? But hey, Freddie, your house is really worth $550,000, but you want to list it for $650,000. You know what, Freddie? I'll let you try it, but I'm telling your house, like, with all transparency, your house is worth $550,000. But we can try it. But I'm telling you, we're going to spend extra time on the market. Hey, you could create some bad juju for your house by putting it on too high. That kind of stuff. So how do you figure out what the inventory is? So take a specific area like Wyndham Lakes, right? That's an area, it's called 3624. We take that area, we divide how many homes sold last month in that area by the number of active homes right now in that area. So if there's 90 homes right now on the market right now, and 10 homes sold last month, we're going to divide 10 into 90. That means that's 9, right? That means it is actually a buyer's market. Anything, wow. I think they say anything over 6 or something like that means that it's a buyer's market. Yeah.
So the opportunity for the buyer is still there to buy. And I think that the interest rates were what was holding the buyers back, but they didn't have much inventory to work with because the rate and the availability of the houses weren't there.
The rate was really good, and there was no homes, right? Yeah. So I believe that when the rate goes to anywhere around 599, you're going to see everybody running to go buy again. So you're going to see it turn back to a seller's market. When will that happen? I don't have a crystal ball. So that's what, people always ask. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? It is. Based on the numbers in some areas, it looks like it's a seller's market. Sometimes a house is just so nice, it sells faster based on condition. Sometimes something sells faster because of price. Something might sell better because of location, right? But one thing that I always preface is that when it comes to selling a house, you have three things: price, condition, location. If your price is good, it will sell no matter the location or the condition. Price will always take over for those two things. If your house is impact windows, modern, is like the white floor, you know what I mean? Then those things will take over and you can charge a little bit higher of a price if it's everything. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So like for instance, a lot of times when I go on an appointment, sometimes roofs are original. They're 30 years old. That's a problem. It wasn't a problem when I first got in the business 24 years ago.
Right, because there was 6-year roof. It was a 6-year roof, and now you got a 30-year roof.
No. I'm talking about houses that when they were back in Fort Lauderdale, when I was selling a house, and I'm telling you, they were 50-year-old roofs. I was selling a house with a 50-year-old barrel tile roof. Insurance never said anything. I never thought that I was misrepresenting a buyer selling them a house with this roof, because the inspector went out, they looked at it, and they said, hey, everything looks okay. A couple of cracked tiles, just replace them. Because the membrane underneath the tile, and you fixed houses all your life. You
can't see the membrane.
But you can when you go in the attic if there's leaks.
If you look for them, yes.
Right, but when they crawl through the roof, if they don't see any stains,
they're going to say it's fine.
It's fine, right? I mean, if it hasn't gotten to that point, then the membrane must be fine.
And you have wind mitigation, you have wind problems and
we
everything
didn't
else.
have wind mitigation.
I know that, but these are all the new rules.
And when did a 4-point start back then? At 50 years.
Correct.
So now 4-point start now at 10 years.
I know. It's
20 years.
It's changed. But let me ask you, you look at all of this, in business there's always this ups and downs. But if you have an opportunity now to buy a house, wouldn't you do it? I mean, you can always refinance, you can fix things and all of that. But if you don't have inventory, you're not going to get a chance to buy. So if there is inventory right now, shouldn't you think about
That's what I say.
buying that house to do it because you want to be in the game, not looking into the game?
I guess it depends, right? It depends on a lot of things, right? Number one is you have to look at the whole picture. What would the cost be? And again, we have Max that offers that zero refi only hard cost.
Amazing.
And I think you need to ask that specific question and call Max and say, well, what does it cost for that hard? What's the hard cost to do that refi, right? We know you'll get a discount if you do it within 2 years on the title policy, right? It depends on the cost of the house. What's that cost? You want to know what those costs are so that it's not a big deal.
Right.
So that you understand, do I have enough equity in the house in order to do that?
Correct.
Hey, did I use Hometown Heroes? Would I have to pay that back? So
good point.
You got to look at the entire picture and ask yourself the right questions when you're doing this, right? Because it might not be an option to do the refinance to get that lower rate later on, but Hometown Heroes won't be around later either, right?
That's right.
So again, it made sense to buy because you got the Hometown Heroes, so you had to take the higher rate. You found the home you really loved, so it did make sense to buy now. So that
was a good
sense.
move.
Right. So it was a good move. I say to people, don't buy to buy. Look and buy when you fall in love with it. Like a lot of times, if you're in a rental complex, or even if you're in a rental, work out something with your landlord where they give you that 2 months on the lease where you can take that penalty and pay the penalty because I'd rather pay, if my lease is $3,000 a month and I pay a $6,000 penalty, I'd rather pay a $6,000 penalty and be in the house I love for the rest of my life than to feel like I'm rushed to pick a house because I had to pick because my lease was coming due within a month or two. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Now, a lot of people, and I was on the phone with a client today, she's like, I don't want to pay a penalty like that. You're talking about a life decision. The problem is people move so fast so often. I don't know. I mean,
life doesn't stop, and
Yeah.
you have changes that occur every day. You know, sometimes you buy it right and you sell right because you fixed the house and then you saw what happened with the market. Anticipation, 2 years, will interest rates come down? Can you hold on for 2 years and then refinance the house? Do you buy a house like what happened to me? All of a sudden you quadruple because the market went skyrocket. You got to look at Florida as a whole. You know, there's not really bad places in Florida to invest in a house, but there are some bad places. So you have to sort of be careful with what you do in that aspect. But I love the opportunity to be able to explore it with merchandise.
Right.
You know how hard it is not to be ready to buy and you can't because there's nothing out there.
yeah. There is inventory, but what I've noticed is that it needs a lot of work.
The houses?
Yeah.
Welcome to Florida.
Yeah, I just feel like it needs so much work. I don't know.
Now you do something very different with people. You help them.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the person's situation, right? You know, if they qualify, I will definitely sit down and go over a plan with them. You know, if it's something that is mutually beneficial for both of us, I would definitely go over a plan with them and finish, you know, getting their house ready to go to market so that they can get the most money possible. Let's go to commercial break, and when we come back, let's talk about, you know, how do you buy a house in this market and what makes sense. So we'll be right back after we check out our awesome sponsors. Stay tuned.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fish, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fish is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fish today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FRIPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at theloracell.com. And now back to the show.
So, if you're thinking about buying real estate, I think that you should definitely call me, only because I think that I might be the best realtor for you.
I can't
I
disagree.
don't know. I could be a little biased. Not really sure.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. But, and if you're thinking about getting a mortgage, definitely should give Max Fish a call. He's our local lender.
And you two work hand in hand.
Yes, and if you're thinking about, you know, needing to get some title work, you definitely should give JK Closings, give Nick and CJ a call. They're awesome. They're always available. We are getting ready to go into a real whirlwind, a real show. Things are changing.
Like what?
Well, yesterday I went on an appointment to over $3 million appointment. The seller does not want to pay the commission. Now, on a $3 million appointment, I get that the buyer could probably pay the buyer's agent's commission. I get that. But what about the people that are buying $500,000 houses? Like, how are they going to buy? How's that going to happen?
When you say that the seller doesn't want to pay commission, what does that mean?
He's willing to pay the listing agent,
That's the seller side.
He's willing to pay me to market,
Okay.
but he's not willing to pay
The
the
buyer
other
side.
Right. So he also wants me to market to other agents out of the country, like in London and France. So what do I do?
Well, can't you include the commission in the sale price? Is that allowed?
Well, I think that that's what's going to have to happen, is that they're going to have to write their commission into the price. But there's going to be a list price.
Correct. So if the list price is A, you're going to have to sell, and the seller comes off of A, right? You don't add the seller's price.
It's
The
very
commission.
complicated. I don't even, so I had written it that way, right? Saying that anything over this they would pay, and anything under this they would have to pay their own client, you know. But yeah, no, they didn't want to sign that. So I'm like, and again, I get it, $3 million, totally different story. But then you go to the $5 million, $500,000. It's like, you know, because like $500,000 is not like, that's not an expensive house these days, which is kind of mind-blowing to me.
Well, on the table, I guess you have to discuss how the 3, 4, 5, 6% commission is divided and who has to pay it. Does it come out of one end? Does it come out of the other?
Yeah, but the
end?
sellers don't even want to pay. They want to pay 3.
They want to pay
or
their
2.5.
side.
That's it.
And they're asking the buyers to pay their side.
Correct.
So the question is, verbally, can you put that together so that there's a legalized contract in play? Can that be done?
So we have new contracts that are coming out. We're
Okay.
still not finalized on them, which is coming down to the wire. Come the 13th of August, there no longer will be any kind of compensation in the multiple listing service. So now I'm trying to figure out where I can display this. We're not allowed to talk about it at all on the MLS at all. It's just getting very complicated, right? It's already hard to sell a house. I'm telling you, we have a lot of inventory out there.
Right.
There's a lot of competing marketers. Like I said, when I was talking with Dawn, and she's like, oh, you know, agents say, like, yeah, there's a lot of one houses out there. Lots of them. A lot of houses need updating right now. So I think maybe a lot of baby boomers are selling, and they haven't done updates.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Because when you really look, I see a lot of older homes with no updates. You know?
Interesting. $3 million homes, those updates are going to be more expensive.
No, that's not a home. That's a condo. That's
a condo?
actually, yeah, that's a condo on the water. That's a whole another ball
It's a
game.
whole different game there. Condos are a whole different animal.
That's a whole nother animal too. It's funny because I've been in real estate a long time. It used to be easier. It's not easy anymore. It's very hard. It's really hard. And you really need to know what you're doing. And this new lawsuit's really gonna weed out people. And if it doesn't, the people that are hiring us really need to be scared to not just hire anybody. And I know I say that all the time, but people get screwed. And then it's too late, you know? And I know sometimes people like to go on based on referral, but sometimes you really need to go based on experience, knowledge, education. This is a lot of money you're talking about.
You're going to have to educate the buyer and the
time.
seller at a different pace and a different level.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer just transferring paper. Now there's numbers involved, who gets what, I'm pretty sure deals fall through. So what happens to escrow and everything else is collected? How does it affect the buyer and the seller psychologically to continue?
What do you mean by that?
Like a seller, all of a sudden, he may not want to pay the buyer's side. And he's going to be thrown all these people that want to buy his property. But they don't want to pay it. They want to take it out of the commissions.
So I call that negotiation, right? So I think that, again, the agent that seller hires should really educate the seller from the beginning and say, listen, Mr. Seller, it's a negotiation, right? When you hired any agent, because usually it's not anybody's first time ever selling a house, right? But let's assume it's not, right? Hey, Mr. Seller, the last time you sold a house and you paid a commission, it was really a marketing fee. That's really what it is. It's a marketing fee. You're paying me to market your house, and it's really the one fee is being offered by the listing broker. And the listing broker is giving part of that commission to the buyer's broker. It's an incentive to bring me a buyer, right?
Correct.
So, because sometimes the listing agent will take a little less commission if another agent doesn't bring that buyer. Okay? And there's going to be a lot of that's going to happen. That is part of that whole new buyer, broker kind of thing. With that being said, I think that if we teach them that it could be negotiated into the offer,
exactly,
right? Just like closing costs.
Exactly.
You're a mortgage broker.
That's right.
So back in the day, somebody would say, were you in the business back when people were doing the real illegal stuff? $100,000? And a lot of people went to jail?
I don't remember ever seeing a number that high, but
I did.
There were,
I walked away from a deal and said, my son, he's going to be 18. He was just born. He was 1 year old. There was $100,000 being put back onto the closing, and I said to the seller, I said, I'm sorry, I need to walk away from this deal. I know that we haven't been able to sell the property, but it was another market. It was hard to sell. I said, but I'm not comfortable with this transaction. I think there's something wrong.
I've seen family do that.
This wasn't family.
No, well, then it's a little bit abnormal.
Back then, this was 2006, and this was back in 2006. And what I saw back in 2006 is they were taking women that were having financial difficulties, giving them $5,000, putting their names as straw buyers, and then taking the $95,000 difference and running off and never paying the mortgage, and eventually the mortgage was foreclosed.
Not nice. Not nice.
Yeah, that was in 2006 and 7. A lot of that was going on. I walked away from a listing because that was what was going on. I told the sellers that, if you would like to move forward with the deal, that's fine, but I cannot do that.
Now, let me ask you a question. If you have a seller and it's a $100,000 house, and you tell the seller that you want 6% commission for selling his house, can he tell you, no, I'm only willing to pay 3%?
And I can tell them I'm not willing to take the deal.
Okay, so if he agrees to pay you, if not 6.5, and you agree on 5, can you split your commission with their?
Yeah.
With their, and that's okay. So if you collect your 6 and you pay off the other person, is the buyer agent going to be comfortable with that?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Nobody wants to pay 6.
Nobody wants to pay 3. Nobody wants to pay 1. But you got to pay something.
Correct.
So the real question here is, how much commission does the sellers want to pay?
Nothing.
Correct. But even in the real world, they have to pay something as a commission.
I agree.
So the only thing that's changing here is people's wanting to keep their more money.
But here's the thing, and we're going to keep it at this because we're running out of time. Bottom line is this. Somebody decided to say that we don't work hard, and I may just tell you, I work 7 days a week, probably 15 hours a day.
I seen you were out of here, yeah.
Yeah, I'm slammed, I'm busy, I'm marketing constantly, I'm running all around for my clients, doing so much stuff. It's unbelievable. My husband sees it. I don't even know what to say anymore. And the bottom line is that somebody decided to go ahead and sue for billions of dollars. And the bottom line is all these sellers that went back and got money got $30. That's what it's all boiled down to. And all this has done is create a lot of headache for all the future sellers. That's what this has done. Okay? Because we have always run this the way that we've always run this.
Right.
Right? Buyers don't have the money to do this. It's very rare. You sellers collect this money in what you get in when you sell you sell the house. And without us, if you felt you could do it on your own, you do it for sale by owner.
Correct. And that's not the way to go, because you're not going to get a good deal that way either.
Because it's very hard to negotiate for yourself.
Correct.
So anyway, I want to thank everyone for watching Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I hope you've learned something tonight that it makes sense for you to pay a commission to your buyer's agent.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. We look forward to seeing you next week.